In the man cave today and looking at the Lumberjack Lathe. Someone's asked me to review. So here we are in the shed, and we're looking at the Lumberjack Lathe that I've had now for probably about a year. I've made a few bowls and other things as well, dibbers, garden dibbers, so quite a bit really. But someone's asked me, what is this lathe actually like? Is it any good? Because it was a cheap one. It was very, very cheap. So let's have a look at the Lumberjack Lathe. The Lumberjack Lathe, here it is. You've seen it before probably if you've seen my other videos, and I've done some when I was making some bowls. Now look, we'll come to that in a minute. This is a Lumberjack Tools lathe, and it's got some information on there. It said it was manufactured July 2020. So what is this lathe like to work with? Well, it's pretty low spec, I think, really, compared with probably what you can buy. I think it was about 150, 170 maybe at the most. So it did come with a set of chisels, not very good ones. So, you know, bear in mind, if you do buy one of these lathes, you're going to have to buy a set of chisels. There's my chisels here. Now, most of these chisels I've bought myself. Some of the ones are the ones that came with this lathe. But if you want to take this hobby up seriously, then you need some good chisels. You need a bowl gouge, and various other chisels as well. But yes, here it is. So what's the drawback with this type of lathe then? So the business end here, this is where the motor attaches inside to this kind of spiky thing. I'm just actually unscrewing it at the moment and taking it off. This is the one, this is a replacement part actually, because the first one didn't work properly. So there's a thread here, and what you can put on that thread is something like this, and you can use, if I get the wood lice off it, you can screw wood to this faceplate and then obviously screw it onto the lathe, and that's basically how I've been turning my bowls, and that's been okay to do it like that. Just a traditional method, I guess. Now, I haven't invested, but you could get a chuck to fit this threaded part that comes out of the machine, and if you get a chuck, you've got a bit more versatility really. This thread and thread size, not saying it's particularly difficult to find a chuck to go on here, but you need to make sure that if you were to buy a chuck, that you get the right thread to screw on here. I haven't gone that far yet. I've been quite happy to make my bowls with using this faceplate, and I've actually got that one. I've got two actually. I've got a lighter one here. I actually bought this one. I think that one I've just shown you came with a lathe. Oh no, it didn't. No, it did not. So those two that I've just shown you, I bought myself, because the one that comes with the machine is, well, it's kind of big for a start, and I wanted to work on some smaller pieces of wood. if you can compare that faceplate with the type of wood that I might put on, there you go. It's the size of the wood that I'm actually going to cut into, so that's not great really. So that's why I bought some smaller ones. So with that size on, then you can cut a lot more of the wood easily, more easy. So that's one point to note, that's really redundant. I'm not going to be using that, I don't think. And also I felt that the holes were slightly out of alignment. Yeah, that's not particularly very good. The other thing that's quite important is these things here that you would use if you were going to turn a spindle. So what you would normally do is take this part here, and with your spindle, or your piece of wood that you're going to turn into some sort of spindle shape, you would place it in the center of the wood and hammer that in some ways. So you can see that it's got these kind of points on here to go into the wood, so that it actually kind of digs in and supports the wood. Well, these fail, they really do. Well, the first one that I bashed in to the wood was this one, so be very careful of this. I bashed this one in, and now it won't screw on here. Oh no, actually that's the good one. So this one came with the machine, and it won't screw on anymore. It actually is crimped in there in some way, probably due to me hammering it into the wood. But the company Lumberjack actually sent me another one. That was great. But these aren't sufficient to hold the wood at all. These forks, or whatever you want to call them, splines, don't dig into the wood enough to hold it. It's a disappointment. So I've been having a bit of a problem trying to get these to actually hold the wood. If I move this out of the way, excuse me while I move this. So what you would do normally is that goes on there like that, and then this part comes in to hold it in place. Yeah, I haven't got my hands free at the moment, but that's how it should work. But as I said, this part doesn't grip the wood enough. It's a disappointment. I'm going to have to think of something else perhaps to screw in here to do that. And it may be the chuck. I may have to get a chuck to do that. I don't know. So limitations. It does work as a lathe. You can cut a really nice bowl, and I've done that. But there are some things that are a bit deficient. And just recently, yeah, let's have a look at this. Rust. So I noticed just a week or so ago bubbles of rust coming up on this part of the machine. Actually, it's from where these controls are down. There's some more down here. And I just picked at this to see what's going on. I'm going to have to sand this down and repaint, I think. It doesn't seem to be anywhere else on the machine. It seems to be okay elsewhere. But this is a failure. This isn't great at all, really. So if you go and buy one, check it out first, see if there's any bubbles on there. There's bubbles there, just showing. Yeah, there's rust under there. So not great, really. Not a great finished product. So that's my review of the Lumberjack Lathe. There it is. I'm quite pleased with it. Yeah, it's going rusty, but I've cut some good bowls on this, and for the price, yeah, it's okay. You know, I envisaged that if this worked out okay, that probably at some point I would actually ditch this and get a better lathe. I knew it probably was the lower end and probably wouldn't actually survive for too long anyway, so I'm not too displeased with it. I think it certainly got me through lockdown with doing a few things, so that's been great. Yes, I would recommend it, but just think about the limitations and what else you have to buy on top of the lathe, which is the chisels. Okay, that's it for now. So I'll be back soon, probably with another video. So that's it. Bye for me. Bye for now. Bye.